I joined the Army whenever the day I turned 19, I left. I actually did a delayed entry. Joined in October of 2016, left in January of 2017. I decided to go to the Army. My grandpa, he was a paratrooper in the Army too, and so I wanted to follow in his footsteps. So I made sure to get an airborne contract. That was really the only thing I really cared about. I never expected to go to war. I joined, I'm just going to be completely straight up, to get free college. I came from a small town in Wilkes. I didn't want to work at Tyson the rest of my life, so I wanted to get something out of life. I went to Afghanistan in January of 2019. I drove a Merv, so what my job was while I was with my team is basically a giant, obviously I was a mechanic when we was at base, but when we went outside of base, I drove a giant tow truck is what it was. It towed these giant military fighting vehicles like MRAPs and Max Pros. So you can imagine how big my truck was. It was even more huge. Had a big old crane, boom, all that good stuff. When I was in Afghanistan, I got to go out on pretty much every mission that my ODA went out on, and so I watched two of my buddies, Will Lindsay and Joseph Coletti, they basically got shot and sprinted around a building and died right there beside each other. And I got to watch that. I didn't watch it in person. I watched it through basically like a tablet. That was in Kunduz. And then we took contact many other missions, but one of the bigger ones when we were out after we got back from Kunduz, like I said, we went to Mazar-i-Sharif and then Maymana. Once we got out to Maymana, there was a mission we had to go meet halfway between Mazar-i-Sharif and Maymana to meet another team. That day we had hit 3 IEDs. I genuinely was like, yeah, we're beat. After we hit that third IED, I was like, yeah, we're not making it home. I was like, we're just going to keep hitting them. Like, it's just going to keep happening. I very much accepted that, like, if it's my time, it's my time. I'm here. I'm doing what I got to do. And my mama will be rich. So she'd get her a nice little $500K bag on my life insurance, which is awful, but I just really accepted it in that moment that, like, if it's my time, it's my time. I'm not invincible. Our last mission there before we were leaving to come home, we went back to Koran Call, which is basically, it was where we had hit those 3 IEDs, same village, same route on Highway 1. And the week before, I had set up a minigun on one of the MRAPs. And when you set up a minigun on an open turret, the armor shield doesn't fit. And our Sergeant Major Ryan, Ryan Sarder, he got in that one because he was like, this is so badass for that mission. He had been in for 19 years. He was a Sergeant Major, had no reason to go on that mission. Zero. Just wanted to. Loved it. Ate it up. I've never seen someone more gung-ho about fucking killing people and going and like that, like into that kind of stuff. He had 4 kids. We were out on mission on the truck that I'd rigged up, and he took a disc around to the head, and he was dead before he knew what happened. Yeah, that one hit me pretty hard, honestly. I've come a long way since then, but he was a really good guy. He's bald-headed as hell. Before I went to Afghanistan, I saw a lot of my senior leadership have these bracelets on and be like, wow, they went to war. They've seen real shit. Like, I want to be like that. I want to get into that. And until you, like, get these bracelets, and until you get them, do you realize that you don't want them. You don't want to go to war. You don't. I don't wish it on my worst enemy. It's fucking ugly. It's the ugliest thing you'll ever experience. And so I don't wish it on nobody. But my mindset now is a lot different. And it would be a lot different if I went back than it was at 21 because I was young and I was naive. Ever since I got back from Afghanistan, I've had nightmares of going back. Like, I've literally the same fucking thing. I either leave Afghanistan and they send me back while my guys are still there, or I got back like I did, and then they're like, hey, you're going again. And I wake up fucking terrified, like freaking out, like, you know, cold sweats, all that. But at the same time, I would love to. Life is so simple when you're deployed. It's the simplest life can be. I woke up, I ate, I worked out, I did my job, I didn't die, I ate, I went to bed. And this is going to sound even more insane because it is. I've jumped out of planes, I've driven fast cars, you know, I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie. There is nothing on this fucking planet. You can do cocaine, you can do anything you want. There is nothing that compares to getting shot at and shooting back. There's nothing that compares to war. Nothing. When it comes to a high that you will get. And it's awful. It's ugly. It makes you feel every emotion you've ever felt. but there is nothing like the thrill that you will feel when like bullets are flying around you or bombs are going off. It is a thrill unlike anything, and I will tell people that. We got back in August of 2019 after that mission. I went back to Bagram, flew back home, and immediately plunged into like heavy alcohol consumption. February of 2022, it started to manifest. I had that fall before my girlfriend's grandma had died. We were at her funeral, so this is fall of 21, excuse me. And we were at her funeral, and bagpipes came on at her funeral, and I had like a complete meltdown in front of her entire family. Like at this funeral, like I'm talking about, like I started hyperventilating, not being able to breathe. I didn't know what was going on. I just kept saying, I'm scared. Like I didn't know what to say. Like 2 months later, I was here on campus. This is when I really realized I had an issue, because I thought it was a one-off. It was just the whole vibe of a funeral, bagpipes all all compiled together. But I was walking on campus from Belk to McKee for a sociology class, and there is a fucker on campus. I ain't seen him since, swear to God, I've only seen him this one time, that plays bagpipes on campus. I don't know what kind of fucker would do that on a college campus. But I got to where Hillside Coffee is and just paused. I stopped. And I froze, literally with fear. I just got goosebumps thinking about it down to my toes. Got to my classroom and my professor was in there, Kathleen Brennan. She's a sociology professor, shout out her. I looked at her and I was like, I need to talk to you in the hallway. And I came out in the hallway, full mental breakdown right in front of her. I'm talking about squalling. I'm scared. I don't know what's wrong. I'm scared. The bagpipes. She escorted me to CAPS, calmed down over there, and ended up going back to class, thankfully. And then I was like, you know what, I really do need some help. I was like, I actually do. I ended up going to the VA, started therapy consistently. They ended up diagnosing me with panic disorder, panic attacks, and anxiety, generalized anxiety, and depression, which is pretty sick. Not really. I ended up going to the trauma center in Asheville last fall, and ended up doing EMDR. It's hypnosis. It's the craziest shit I've ever heard. I chalked it up to this is ridiculous. It is insane. They would do that stuff with their fingers, and you'd look at it, and I would start being able to smell the way things smelt when I was over there, and very awful things, like my friend getting his head blew off. After about 8 sessions, we ended up ending it because he said I was done, and it helped me so much. I genuinely cannot talk enough about how much it helped me. I went through my entire deployment step by step and actually processed it, because when you're over there, like I'd said, you don't have time to. You really don't. And so I went through, and it was really traumatizing, and it made me really realize what I'd went through, and not just chalk it up to it wasn't that bad, or I didn't have it as bad as this guy, or so on and so forth, and made me realize that it's my trauma and my story, and that it's my experience. It's not, I don't need to compare it to yours or his, whatever. It's mine, and I need to eat it and talk about it. So that helped me a lot. As far as coping mechanisms, like I said, EMDR is really helpful. I really, really hope anyone that goes through trauma, whether that is military trauma or domestic violence or sexual assault, whatever trauma you go through, I recommend that if you've not processed it thoroughly and truthfully processed it, you go through that. I recommend general therapy. I go to general therapy every other month. Breathing techniques I've got put on. I do breathing techniques, especially when I get anxious. They've helped me cope a lot. I sit there and just breathe and relax and calm down. I'm also a big believer in needle therapy. I have a lot of tattoos. I have my entire left arm and chest done. I have pretty much my entire right leg done. And it's helped me cope a lot. I have some tattoos that are from my time in the military. I actually got the death dates of Will and Joey and Ryan tattooed on me that says Till Valhalla. It's just something that I can carry to remember them, that I can always have on me. I had multiple people tell me to get involved in some sort of veteran community because it's still a part of my life. You know what I'm saying? It's who I am. There's stuff that I'm particular about that I'm sure Brady over there, he's particular about in the same way. The past 3 years, no shade to anybody else, but the SFA didn't do events. They weren't really known about. Nobody really knew they existed. Veterans on campus didn't even know they existed. Last year, my junior year, Thomas O'Hackey, he was a Coast Guard guy, he told me about this room in here, and I was like, what? Like a room? And he was like, yeah, man, we got snacks and drinks and a bunch of veterans. We just hang out and watch South Park and talk shit and do homework and all that. And I was like, what? And I was very hesitant at first because I was like, I don't want to do that. I was like, I'm past that. I want to be a college kid. And I've learned, especially as times went on, I'm not just a college kid. There's more to me than that because I am an older student. Last spring, though, I told them I would do like PR marketing because I wasn't really involved, didn't really know any of the guys besides like 2 or 3 of them. Sure, I'll be on the board, don't need people. Yeah, like the end of May, right before school let out, they're like, yeah, you're going to be vice president. And I was like, what? I was like, what? Okay. I was like, whatever. I graduate in December. I was like, 1 semester, I'll be vice president. Be easy. Vice president usually doesn't do too much, you know what I'm saying? Well, like 2 weeks before this semester started, I got a text and was like, yeah, man, I'm not going to be coming back to Western, so you're going to be president now. And I was like, huh? I was like, no. I was like, dude, I did not sign up for this. The only person I knew was Isaac. He's our vice president now. He was secretary before, but I was like, okay, it's the only person that's even on the board. It was going to be me, Nick, and Isaac. It was only going to be us 3. So I was like, well, now it's just me and Isaac. I was like, let's try to make something out of this. From the get-go, we went to Valley Ballyhoo, just me and Isaac. We met Brandon, who is now our PR and marketing guy. I got him on board. This guy came in here, Brady, and he was like, hey, I'm new. I'm a Navy loser. And I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, you're just the kind of guy I want. He's been a great addition. He's a freshman this year, so great addition. New guy that we brought in. And then another fella came in. His name's Jasper. He's an Army veteran. Ended up conning him to get on the board. Completely new guy, freshman also. First week or 2 of class. And Ashlyn was in here. She's at Penna. Her husband was a Marine. Conned her to get on the board. And so within a matter of about 2 weeks, filled out the entire board. And I was like, wow, this is actually not bad. All these new people came in who haven't been here in the past years. Has made my life a little better. And then I was like, well, if I'm here, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it right. I'm going to try to get us involved and do stuff. And we had school fund money. I got us this table. We've got a banner now that we set up like out at the fountain. We've put on multiple events now. We had a Murph challenge at the start of the semester. We had about, 45 people show up to it and do a Murph. It's like a workout challenge. We did that, and then we did the Unseen Scars event. That's done every year, but it's typically done by Tom Baker and his group. We ended up kind of partnering with him and helping him promote that. And I went to it last year. This year, 2.5 times the attendance. It was slam packed in there, most packed I'd ever seen it. From there, we've done group exercises like going to the range together. You know, we're having an MRE taste testing event after Thanksgiving for students to be able to try MREs, try to raise money. The SVA is actually a national organization, nationally organized. So they have national level events too. They're having their national conference in Nashville in January. I've got these guys. I'm not going to be here, sadly, because I'm graduating, but I've got them set up, trying to get stuff paid for and money raised for them to be able to go to it. I tell you, it's really filled a hole in my heart in that there's this mutual understanding between all of us of what the military is and the shared experiences that we've all went through. We all left home, pretty much all of us at a young age, and went to training. Some of us are guard or reserve guys, so like we may not have been active, or they may not have been active, but they still understand the sacrifice. There's this itch that my friends here at college that are normal people, that are like just regular civilians, don't understand, I guess. And my first 2.5 years here, that was something that I was really missing, was a community of people that understood that part of me. I have a lot more lived experiences than most 19, 20, 21-year-olds. I'm also just older. I want to be around people more my age. It's been really nice. I will say we've really got, I think, this club up and going and really recognized more so on campus and tried to get, I took over kind of a skeleton of a crew and skeleton of an organization, and I've tried to really turn it into a functioning member of this campus. And then I'm now trying to get these guys more involved nationally because, there's a leadership institute, there's the national convention, there's multiple other programs that the national level runs that they pay for you to fly somewhere, pay for your room, you hang out, stuff like that, share ideas, network, job opportunities, and I want to get these guys involved in that because it'll only better theirself. And it gives you a sense of purpose. So it's another big thing that I've gained from it. It's a sense of duty, duty. So, yeah.